breaking ball hit well, deep to center. Roller going back, near the wall. This baby's gonna go! Troy Johnston has a 3-run bomb!
This is the Turn 2 podcast with Scott Kornberg and Troy Johnston.
Welcome into the Turn 2 podcast, everybody. Scott Kornberg and Troy Johnston. We're at 121 Financial Ballpark in Jacksonville, home of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. But this week we are welcoming in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, and TJ Rumfield is joining us. TJ, thank you for making time for us on this maybe stormy afternoon. This is the spot you'll forever have hit your first AAA home run. What's that adjustment been like early on? A, playing in Scranton, and B, you've excelled so far here in the early portion of the season.
Yeah, it's just, trying to learn as much as you can each day, taking it day by day, not really looking too much into results. I think, as players, we fall into the trap of looking at our results, maybe too often. And it's just, one of those things that's, it's nice to have those things, but it's also nice to know that I fall back on my process each and every day. So it's kind of like, it's good that having success, but also, everything that goes into it, why wouldn't you?
For that process, it's interesting, like looking at your journey, because you've kind of moved around a lot. You're from Texas, and you think, okay, Texas Tech, I get there, 4 College World Series in 6 seasons. This is a great place for a kid in state, and you get drafted by you obviously end up at Virginia Tech, and you get drafted by the Phillies, and then traded to the Yankees. What has that been like? I'm sure you anticipated just being at Texas Tech and get drafted there and going into pro ball, but the move to Virginia, the move into the Phillies organization, now to the Yankees organization, to Somerset, and now Scranton Wilkes-Barre, you've gotten to move around a lot. Is that a cool part of this journey for you to see so many different areas than maybe you got to see as a kid in Texas?
Yeah, it's really, kind of weird, sometimes getting moved around and, meeting new people. But I think that's just a game of baseball. It's such a small world that, like, you meet one guy and this guy knows this guy and another guy knows this guy, and just it's all one big, baseball family, sort of say. But yeah, starting at Texas Tech, straight out of high school, thinking that I was going to play every day just because that's just how I thought my life was going to go. And, it didn't turn out that way. Watched a lot of baseball, redshirted my freshman year. Obviously wasn't the plan, but got in the weight room, got stronger, did the things that I could control in order to get better, put myself in a position to play in that 2020 season, which was that COVID season. Played pretty good that year, enough to where, when COVID hit, I could be like, all right, I could assess my options. I wanted to play every day, and I wasn't playing every day, so had to move somewhere else. It was never like, I'm going to this new place and I'm going to have to adjust. No, it's just be who I've always been and, trust that, the end goal is to be a Major League Baseball player, and that, no matter what happens, that, you're on the path to that.
I mean, that's very inspiring. I mean, we have a lot of younger listeners, especially those that are going through college or going at the younger minor leagues, or even are just in high school baseball. Like, you're talking about redshirting and having that, I wouldn't call it disappointment, but just a little bit of a setback. What kind of mentality can you put out there for those people that, 12th rounder, what was it, 3 years in college then? So 2019, 2020 COVID, 2021. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, that's a tough path to forego that last year of college. Like, even with that setback of redshirt, like what kept you going?
Always thinking and kind of knowing in my brain, like telling myself that, like, I am good enough to play at the Division I level and beyond. I just have to get that opportunity. And I always thought that, if I ever got that opportunity, they could never take me out of the game because I would be too good to where they'd be like, all right, we have to play him. And eventually I got that opportunity at Virginia Tech, thanks to the coaching staff there, thanks to Coach Sheff, Coach Elvin recruiting and everybody there that helped, set that up. That was, by far, I played every single day at Virginia Tech. It was, everything I could have asked for, and I just asked for that opportunity, like I said. And I think if anybody younger is listening to this, it's always about, if you do get that opportunity, what have you done prior? Have you been preparing? Have you been, visualizing your success? Has it been, at the forefront of your mind? And if it is, then you should have the results that you want. But if it's not, then,
I like it. So originally drafted by the Phillies in 2021, then traded over in, let's see, was it 22 to the Yankees? Was that a little bit of when you talk about baseball and you talk about some of the best teams to ever play the game, some of the most popular teams, the Yankees is one of the top two in my mind to come up. Was it kind of a bit of a shock in your mind? Did you have any thoughts of there's different rules with the Yankees, there's different things that go on? Is it just baseball again? Was there a bit of a culture shock going from the Phillies to, of course, the New York Yankees? Was there any kind of insight to that you could tell us about?
Anytime you get traded, and especially to the Yankees, it was wow, I'm going to such a prestigious organization. They obviously have rules that come along with it, no facial hair. You represent yourself in a certain way. And I love that. I've always loved that. I've been I'm not really sort of say a one baseball team fan. I've just loved baseball. So any team, and the Yankees are obviously one of the most, historic franchises, obviously 27 World Series. It's, a lot. So, yeah, it's definitely take care of your stuff, take care of your business, kind of that sort of approach. But also coming over, it was nothing but, open arms. The entire organization was very helpful, towards me, letting me know, what I do well, what I can do better. So, the communication was there, everything that you could ask for as a player.
This is, such a prestigious organization, as you mentioned, and it seems like you've had a lot of success. You maybe upped your game a little bit, and maybe not just hitting, but defensively. You won a Gold Glove last year, which is really cool because it's only one position for the entirety of the minor leagues. The Yankees have actually had kind of a tradition of really slick fielding first baseman, like Don Mattingly was like that in the 90s. Have they done anything to work on that side of your game? Because we think of first baseman, we think of what you did on Tuesday and hitting a home run. Your offense has been obviously tremendous your entire career, and yet your glove is really, really strong as well. Have they made any adjustments in that part of your game?
Yeah, I think the constant work that I had, ever since getting traded, it was just, every single day in spring training, you're there in Tampa. In the off season, it's communication with the coaches, with the coordinators, letting your objectives, what you have, what you need to get better at. And, all of that is very put out there, which is awesome for a player to want to get better. Like me, I want to get better. And I love it when people tell me when I'm not doing things, that are as good or on a major league level. So obviously when I got to the Yankees, it was what can I do to be a Gold Glover? Because that's the most prestigious honor you can get in the field, and you want to achieve that as a fielder. So it's what do I have to do to get there? And we put our head down and went to work. Obviously, I put a lot of work in, and it was a good year. Just a lot of focus, pitch to pitch.
I was going to ask what's that next level to get a Gold Glove? How do you improve your focus? Is that just being conscious and making sure, hey, I'm ready every time the pitch is thrown?
Yeah, it's I'm ready for, you're visualizing. Like I said, I think I mentioned visualization earlier. It's that's a big part of the game, I feel is visualizing what's going to happen or what could happen. So a lot of my balls are hit to my right side. So it's I visualize, how would this guy hit it to my right? Or if this guy's a little late as a righty, is he going to hit it to my left? I need to be ready for that. And it's just little intricacies in the game. It's like that. It's things you pick up on. Obviously, it takes a lot of games to play and a lot of game time. So just experience.
I don't know, Scott. I think I'm going to come for that Gold Glove this year.
And you're a good defensive first baseman too.
I don't know. They've been throwing me out in left field. I got to make some diving catches out there too.
Hey.
You know, could I get a double gold? Could I get one on each hand, like an outfield and a first base glove?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so I got a very important question then. With a Gold Glove, do you get the gold patch when you are you a Rawlings guy?
I am.
Do you get a gold patch on your glove?
You do not.
Oh, it's just that's atrocious. I'll call him.
Where
I don't know who I'm going to call. I'm going to call 1-800 Rawlings. I don't know who to call.
Where do you have your Gold Glove stored? Is it anywhere?
So it's in my apartment right now back in Scranton. Hopefully nobody gets it while I'm gone, but it's just sitting there on my kitchen counter there.
Ah, perfect. Is your wife putting flowers in there too? Like uses it as a vase?
I hope not. And what what the weird thing was is I thought it was going to be like this gold, like basically like trophy. It's just a gold. It's a glove. It's an actual glove. It's just gold around it.
Spray painted?
No, not spray. I don't know what they did, but it's like just everything. It's just gold.
Huh.
But the heavy thing, the bottom is really heavy.
So that's your weightlifting, your off season. The weightlifting is like 1 Gold Glove, 2 Gold Gloves, 3 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. Hopefully that's a part of my my regimen this off season.
So as we were talking about in the first part of the show, you are a new dad. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
What has that brought to? Of course, you hit your first home run this week. Do you think that you have dad strength now, and has that helped you in the game of baseball at all?
Yeah, definitely have that dad strength now. I can't deny it. No, but having a daughter is, the best day of my life. Obviously, it's just, opened my heart so much that if anybody who has kids, like, it's something you can't explain. It's just a magical moment, and also, my wife taking care of that baby, and I'm away a lot of the time. It's like a lot of pressure on her as well. So it's, there's a lot of gratitude, but it's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
This is the back end of a 2-week road trip for you guys. So it's not just, normally in the minor leagues, you leave on Monday, you're there for the entire week wherever you go, and you go back home. You guys were in Durham last week. You come here. So this is 2 weeks away. How difficult is that to deal with, especially because your daughter is so young?
Yeah, you want to be there. And thank God we have FaceTime and, stuff like that to be able to see him with your own eyes. But it's kind of just, you want to be there in person, but obviously, got a job to do and, wanting to win every day. But, obviously it does take a toll on you as a person. But, I'm glad I'm living the dream, sort of say.
It is.
So I guess I have a little bit of a specific question for you. So when I'm watching the Yankees, so me personally, I'm a little bit of I don't know if you've heard of Teacherman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's interested. I saw the eyes light up right away.
I was like, oh. Yeah.
So I try to be a little bit of a teacher. I'm not very good at it, but I try to take some of the stuff that he does. A lot of the Yankee organization, like all the hitters, they all kind of look like that kind of part. Have you deep dove into that? Have they talked about that as like a Yankees organization, anything like that? Like what's like the hitting technique, or what do they build off of with the Yankees?
I mean, obviously you see Judge and he has, Teacherman, and that's his hitting guy, but I think a lot of guys, watch, his videos online and, see that the players that he's working with have success, so it's maybe they're adopting some of that way or some of his ways. From the Yankees standpoint, I just feel like we've always said it's just hit strikes hard, and that's our philosophy, and that keeps it simple. Not really some sort of trying to do it all with a mechanical adjustment. It's more of kind of a mentality like that. But I can't say that I haven't looked at Teacherman a time or two and looked at his videos and see what he's got going on. But I think every player would, if any players looking at swings and stuff. So.
Well, I know for me, we have I'm such a backwards hitter. Like I can't think, like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, straight to the ball. For me, I'll just chop at it. Yeah. I'll chop that thing right into the ground. And so for me, I'm big on the snap, like trying to hit the ball straight up in the air. And I've seen just a lot of you guys' swings. I'm like, oh, a lot of that is rooted, it looks like, in the Teacherman. And I don't know if that's like I said, I just had to ask the question because I was so interested in it. Of course, as judge and whatnot, we'll roll right into that. You had spring training with them.
Yeah.
You know, that's some of the highest paid, and not only highest paid, but highest recognized players in the game. You got Soto, you got Rizzo, you got Judge, who's the shortstop you guys have right now? Volpe. Yeah, Volpe, guys like that. What was going through spring training like that? Was it a shock? I know even with the Phillies, you have a lot of high-profile players. Like, what was that playing? Did you learn anything from those guys?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just, obviously getting the invite to spring training was huge, and I wanted that and was looking forward to that and glad that it came. But another thing was how can I learn the most in this short amount of time? Because I want to soak up as much knowledge as possible. So, like, I was asking questions every day, whether it was, Rizzo were taking ground balls at first, just trying to, like, pick his brains about certain things, and just, like, having conversations with the big league hitting coaches and the coaches, and, just getting to know, like, just the people and try, you know how it is. Like, you were invited. It's like, you just want to learn all the faces and learn all the names. I think that was the biggest part of it, and just getting familiar, just so, like, if that day does come and you get called up, like, you're not completely, like, thrown off and you don't know, like, nobody, like, some people because you've been in camp with them, you sweated with them, I think that's, getting the conversations with them is the most important.
That's awesome. So also, we Scott and I were talking about it. You come from a long line of a baseball family. Growing up, my big question that I ask a lot of the players, why baseball? Why? There's so many other sports out there. Did you play any other sports in high school? And if so, why baseball?
Yeah, so I played football in high school too. I was really, I was leaning towards, actually going to play football in college. I wanted to, pursue that part of it because, going to high school in Texas, it's all about football. Football is, Friday nights roll around. Yeah. It's like town shuts down. And, the town I came from, it's a football school. So, like, you wanted to play football. And that's like where, the glory is or whatever. So, like, me playing baseball in high school, like, my team wasn't bad, but we weren't a baseball school. So when we go to play schools in Dallas or Houston, like, wasn't really like that. So I'd always played baseball growing up because my dad played, and then he had scouted and coached after. So I had always just played, and going into high school, I was kind of in the middle. I knew I wasn't going to play basketball because I just knew that, like, that just wasn't in the cards for me. Like, I was good at it, but not good enough.
6'5" wasn't tall enough?
At that time, I was like 5'10", 5'11", so, like...
What?
Yeah.
Like, when did you hit a growth spurt?
So I hit a growth spurt around, like, sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so then
I thought you had a growth spurt. Like, who was the basketball player that hit it? Was it the guy for the Bucks? He was like
Giannis.
6 foot. Yeah, Giannis was like 6'1", and then, like, shot up to like 6'10", 6'11", something like that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so, like, I played. I really wanted to play football in college, and had the opportunity to, but some things worked out on signing day. I was originally committed to Baylor to play baseball, and some things didn't work out, and I got to Texas Tech. Baseball was my way to go, and I said I'm going to commit fully to baseball, and I'm glad I did.
That's awesome.
Your family that Troy mentioned, and you mentioned about your dad, he was your coach in high school. So what was it like to play for him? I know your younger brother is, I think, still in college baseball at Midland College, I believe. And so I think for him it's got to be, and Troy, you played for your dad. Like, it's got to be a thrill as a dad yourself, TJ, to look at him and be like, wow, like, that was my high school coach. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a fun experience, just playing all the sports. And, he was my coach in football and baseball. So it was just it was a good experience. And I think we wish we would have won some more games, but that's all right.
Does he coach you hard? Like, was that a thing where you felt he was tougher on you because you're his son, or was he the same to everybody?
Yeah, he was kind of just the same to everybody. I feel like maybe just he knew with me, like maybe it was just one of those things that, like, I was going to it was just going to be, one of those things like I talked about. Like, I was going to get to my end goal. It was just always like, how was I going to get there sort of thing. So it was never like I had to go play baseball or I had to go play football. I've always wanted to do this, and I took it upon myself to get better at it and, put towards the work in order to, succeed.
So for you, we talked about Texas Tech and then Virginia Tech, and you mentioned Coach Sheff, really highly regarded coach, obviously. You were part of a draft class there that it was the biggest drafted Hokie class in 6 years. So what you guys put together at Virginia Tech is impressive. It's also way out there. Blacksburg is not near anything.
Yeah.
And you're from like a pretty populous state. So what was it about Virginia Tech that drew you to Blacksburg?
It was kind of like that, like, Michael Vick. It was kind of, it's like, that's all I knew Virginia Tech was, Michael Vick. And like, I don't know, I just always thought that the VT was so cool, and I didn't really know where it was or what it was all about until Coach Elbin had called me and got me on FaceTime, showed me around the facility and whatnot. I got a little bit more familiar with the space and what Blacksburg is, and beautiful city, beautiful college town. It is it is really just perfect for me and what I was going through at the time. Perfect school for me to go and play and do all the things, and super grateful.
Other than majoring in baseball, what did you study while you were at Tech and Virginia? Sorry, yeah, both Techs.
So
at Tech.
At Texas Tech, I was a communications major, and then at Virginia Tech, I was a political science major.
Political science.
Wow, what a time to be a political science major.
Unbelievable.
How about that?
Right after 2020, literally everything you could possibly want in a poli-sci major.
Especially like you're sort of in the D.C. region, right? Like it's far, but it's still just a few hours away.
Yeah, it was right there. It was kind of weird going to school at Virginia Tech, because at Texas Tech I went inside the classroom obviously and did all the stuff, but then Virginia Tech I never stepped foot in a classroom there, so
all online?
It was all online.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
When I was at Gonzaga, I was the guy. I was like, I'm gonna go to Gonzaga. I'm gonna graduate in 3 years. I'm gonna go get my master's. I got to Gonzaga. I was like, this is what I want to do. They're like, that's funny. We don't do that at Gonzaga. I'm like, oh, I chose the wrong school for that, at least. Because seriously, so did you think online classes were easier or harder than in person?
Harder for sure, because I like to, if I have a question, I raise my hand and I like to get an answer, or at least like try to find an answer for the question. And like online, it's like you got to send an email, and like I'm not good at sending emails. So it's like I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm just going to.
So are we going to work by that standard as well? So if I have a question, do I need to raise my hand here?
No, I think you have to
Go
send
ahead.
me an email.
Troy?
Okay, I have to send you an email? Okay, perfect. Troy? Because I was very, very thankful. The one good thing that came out of COVID was Gonzaga classes. So I would have had to went back to graduate. I would have had to go to Gonzaga for one in-person class for a whole semester. So like for 5 months, I would have had to go one. COVID hit, and they were like, nope, we're all going to put everything online. And I got the best grades of my entire college career online school.
Oh my goodness.
I got like 2 A's and a A- or something like that.
Wow.
Where when I'm in class and we're traveling and doing all that stuff, like maybe I had like a 2.5, 2.6, something like that.
Wow.
So I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I took a hard major though.
What was your major?
I was business administration, but the thing was I concentrated in like everything. So I was studying to be an accountant for a while. That got way too hard. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to do coding. That was way too hard. So I was like, I almost flunked out of both of those. I had to retake accounting once, but I ended up getting an operations degree, which it's kind of is what it is. It's operate.
Yeah.
It was like the easiest one out of all the business school ones,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I don't know. Do you have your degree? Did you finish?
I do not. Not.
Do you plan on finishing?
I do not.
Wow.
I don't want.
He is a studier of baseball.
Major leagues, I like it.
We didn't come here to play school. Is that what they said?
Oh, brother, I love it.
Playing in Scranton, how often do you get asked like, okay, you're in where are you in the minor leagues? And you say Scranton. Does everyone ask you about The Office? And
Oh my God, I was thinking the same question.
You know, I haven't been asked that, but I've wanted to pose that question to somebody. Be like, Scranton, like this is like where The Office was filmed, and obviously it wasn't. It was probably filmed in somewhere in LA in the studio, but you know, I haven't been asked that question.
Have you come face to face with the Scranton Strangler?
I have avoided him at all costs.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Have you bought any paper from Dunder Mifflin there?
No, I don't even think they have one. Hopefully, if they do, I would go visit. I would actually go take pictures there if they had one.
Well, I feel like in every city they have like. Have you seen like the Friends, like museum? They almost have like a Friends museum. They got one in New York, and then like travels. I wonder when they're gonna do like an Office one. Like then they just bring in Dunder. But I feel like that is also like a normal job if you like walk into an office. It's the office. It's not going to be anything like spectacular, but it's an office.
You guys do an office night. Your broadcaster, Adam Marco, who's awesome, by the way, was telling me Stanley Hudson, the actor who plays Stanley, I think, is coming.
Yeah.
And minor league baseball, the Oat Milkers jerseys that you guys wore
I saw
yesterday,
that.
Troy.
Yeah.
Minor league baseball wanted you guys to wear the Oat Milkers jerseys for your office night. And from what I understand, I think you guys have like a specialty jersey that night. And they were like, "Nah, we're not going to do that."
Oh my goodness.
But all the stuff is real, actually, in the show. Like Poor Richards is like an actual bar, supposedly. There.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were there 2 years ago,
Good pub.
and the intro to the show, John Krasinski, when he like got the role to play Jim, I guess he flew up to Scranton, and he had like a personal like handheld camera, and he just randomly shot all the footage in the intro is just his stuff.
Yeah.
So we were there, and like we had guys going from the hotel, like walking to the pen paper building. Like it's real. It's like a 6-minute walk from the team hotel there. It's pretty wild. I got one more question for you, TJ. We had Owen Casey from the Cubs a few weeks ago on, and he talked about like the Cubs fan base is so passionate, and like he's always hearing from Cubs fans, good and bad. Unfortunately, the Yankees fan base is obviously incredible. So is the Phillies, to be fair. Have you thought about what it would be like to play at Yankee Stadium? I mean, that is like, it's as good as it gets, right, in the major leagues, with like the fans chanting your name in the first inning when you're in the field. Has that thought kind of crossed your mind yet of reaching the Bronx?
Yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind. You know, just take it day by day, though. Like, you can't get too far ahead of it. I started thinking about that. Then I got 4 at-bats here tonight. It's like I'm thinking about the future and stuff. So I don't really dig in too much about, you know, what it's going to be like in the Bronx. I kind of just want to feel that out. If that time comes, you know, then, you know, the experience will unfold, unravel. You know, hopefully my process stays the same and I don't try to change too much and just, you know, stay me.
God, that's the beauty of baseball. You have no idea what's going to happen the next day.
Yep.
You go 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. Next day, 0 for 4, 4 punchies. Beautiful.
And the next
Absolutely
day, you
beautiful.
hit 2 more homers again.
Exactly. Okay, so being from Texas and thinking about going to the Bronx, to New York. Have you been to New York City yet?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of it?
I love it. I mean, I love the hustle and bustle. I like, you know, city never sleeps. I like that you can wake up whatever time it is and you can walk downstairs and get something to eat. And, you know, it is what it is. I also like, you know, I haven't experienced it, but like other like Yankee players, they talk about just like playing up there. And it's just like it's a different vibe. It just means more, you know, it means more. And it's like the people care. And obviously you want to go out there and win every single day. And that's the goal.
You know, that almost sounds like a Hallmark movie. You know, coming from the country to the big city, the hustle and bustle. God, that could be a good storyline. I could be a Hallmark writer.
You could.
That'd be good.
What would you be my main character? Would you be my sub character?
I can help in the background. You don't want me.
I want you to be the third. So TJ will be the main character. He'll be the coming from the country, coming up, and then you're gonna be like the best friend that like helps him. You know, they've always have like that one friend that tries to talk him out of it, but then ends up talking him into it. I watch way too many Hallmark movies. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
DJ, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thanks. Thank y'all for having me. Yeah.
You've been awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Please don't hit too many more home runs against us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
This has been TJ Rumfield, Scranton Wilkes-Barre, hopefully a New York Yankee really soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. We are available wherever you get your podcast. This is episode 7, so Troy and I say we're just in our infancy. So if you liked our podcast, please rate and review us. If not, try us out again in 2 weeks when we're out.
If not, you'll hear from us. You'll have a very rude email.
Never.
Oh yeah, we're emailing now.
We're emailing.
This is an online class.
I love it. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
And that's the ball game. Thanks for listening to this episode of Turn 2 Podcast with Scott and Troy. A huge thanks to Ken Babby, Harold Craw, Linda McNabb, Noel Blaha, Matt Goodrow, David Ratz, Gillian Bay, and the rest of the Jumbo Shrimp staff for their continued support.